That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
Get
a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
My expectation is not the playoffs. I know.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed as an organization about how the team is playing?
Get your damn act together yourself, okay? Now we're gonna have a good visit this morning, but
we don't have a meddling owner with the Dallas Cowboys because the owner is the general manager.
Right.
And if I were not the general manager, I'd be a meddling owner. I took a lot of risk in buying the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
that was the highest that anyone had ever paid for a sports team.
They weren't doing well at the time.
In history. But
we are live. I got a nice video for y'all today talking about the devilish ways of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. I hope you enjoy. Sit back, get your food, and enjoy. In 1988, the Dallas Cowboys, the once true American historic franchise, was in ruin, coming off a 3-13 season led by the legend head coach Tom Landry, who won 2 Super Bowls in 1972 and 1978 with Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson, who were long gone. It was reaching a point to where it was time to move on, and by his own admission after retirement, Tom said he was struggling with sociological challenges. But currently, according to Tom, let him tell it, he was going to be Dallas's head coach until he was good and ready to say it was time, and there was nothing anyone was going to do about it. Not the owner, Bum Bright, who was told quote by Landry, keep your mouth shut and keep signing the checks. Not the fans who had so much love for him and what he's done for the franchise. They weren't going to stop letting Tom coach and do things the way he wanted to do, even if it wasn't looking well. Bright started to grow disdain for Landry. He was the owner. He wasn't respected. He was ignored. When he told the general manager Tex Schwarm to get rid of Landry, he did nothing. He had to sit and watch his company go downhill. Not to mention when he bought the Cowboys in 1984, he was making enough money from his other enterprises to cover the $83 million price tag. But Bright felt the pinch of the mid-1980s savings and loan crisis, which would cost taxpayers, himself included, more than $100 billion. After his majority stake in First Republic Bank Corporation plummeted, after the federal government took control of it, he lost $29 million, and his Bright Bank Savings Association was headed for one of the biggest bank failures in American history, due to a declining oil price and a deteriorating Texas real estate market. Bright needed a way out. But Bright had one condition before he would sell the team. Whoever bought the franchise had to let Tom Landry go. With many offers to buy the team, no one could really hold up to the last condition. Every prospective buyer freaked out at hearing Bright's condition. Quote, fire God's coach? Are you kidding me? I instantly become the most hated person in Texas. A lot of individuals believe that the Cowboys' future owner will follow the franchise's legendary traditions, much like himself and his predecessor Clinch Murchison Jr. But Bright had someone in mind who didn't fit that description at all. This person was from outside of Texas, and as it turned out, didn't give a damn about tradition. Jerry Jones was a successful oil and gas businessman. He founded Jerry Jones Oil and Gas Company in 1971 and built it into a thriving company worth $175 million. He also had a strong background in football, having played at the University of Arkansas. Jones actually accepted this requirement for purchasing the team with enthusiasm. Quote, I've already planned to bring in my good friend Jimmy Johnson to coach the team if I ever become the owner. Bright sold the team to Jerry Jones for this specific reason. Even though a number of other potential buyers made higher offers, it was because Jones made the promise to Bright that he would terminate Tom Landry. When Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys, he made several significant changes, as you know, hiring Jimmy Johnson, a longtime friend and former University of Arkansas teammate of Jones. He asked him to become the second head coach in franchise history, replacing Tom Landry. He also shifted the draft focus, emphasizing speed and athleticism, leading to the selection of future Hall of Famers. He dramatically increased the team's marketing efforts, transforming the Cowboys into a global brand. The early to mid-90s will be the most remembered and successful time period that the Cowboys will ever come across for eternity. Although when Jones first took over ownership, they did finish 1-15. But many moves were made on the roster to get the Cowboys to where they could reach a championship level. In the draft, they acquired quarterback Troy Aikman. They also got defensive pieces like Jesse Solomon, David Howard, Isaac Holt, and Alex Stewart, with a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Michael Irvin, and later drafting Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith in 1990, with defensive end Jimmy Jones, a team loaded with future Hall of Famers. It was now time to reap the benefits of the deal. The 1992 Dallas Cowboys season was a dominant one, led by the Triplets. Dallas fielded the league's youngest team at the time and finished the regular season with a franchise-best 13-3 record, led by the potent offense and the league's top-ranked defense. The team ranked number 6 on the 100 greatest teams of all time, presented by the NFL on the 100th anniversary. Showing playoff dominance, the Cowboys cruised through the playoffs, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC divisional round 34-10 and the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship 30-20. Super Bowl 27, they decisively defeated the Buffalo Bills 52-17, showcasing their offensive firepower and establishing themselves as a dominant force in the NFL. This victory marked the beginning of the dynasty of the Cowboys, and it wouldn't stop there. In the following season, the Dallas Cowboys had home field advantage throughout the playoffs and finished the NFC best 12-4. Emmitt Smith won his third NFL rushing title, finishing with 1,486 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. He was later named NFL MVP. Dallas would go on to win Super Bowl 28, naming Emmitt Smith the Super Bowl MVP. Aikman finished the regular season with 3,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Wide receiver Michael Irvin with 88 catches for 1,330 yards and 7 touchdowns. This is what the fans needed. This is what the players, the organization, the city have been fighting for. This is what they've been waiting for, the success, the dominance. The deal was working according to plan.
Do you respect his football knowledge?
Yeah, I respect Jerry's football knowledge as an owner and as somebody that loves the game.
But you don't respect him as an equal, then I'm inferring to you in terms of football knowledge and judgment.
I know because I have spent 30 years, learning what I know right now. And
who got the credit winning them first Super Bowls? Jimmy.
Jerry might have been happy about the Super Bowls, but he needed the glory. He needed the fame. He needs all the credit for all the success. This is his team. He's the GM. He's the head coach. He's the secretary. He's the janitor. Jones wanted more authority over the football side than Johnson was willing to give. According to Jerry, there are 500 coaches who could have won a Super Bowl with that team. A few days after this statement, the partnership between Jones and Jimmy Johnson came to an ugly end, and Jimmy Johnson was no longer the head coach after the 1993 season. The day after Jimmy Johnson announced his departure from the team, Barry Switzer was hired. He served 16 years as the head coach of the University of Oklahoma. Switzer was hired by Jerry Jones because he wanted a coach that would be more aligned with his beliefs. Switzer possessed, he claims, leadership, charisma, motivation, and was a proven winner. He also claims he had attributes required to be a coach. The assistant coaches from the previous season were kept on, so Switzer was unable to appoint his own staff. In the 1994 season, he did have a successful run, finishing 12-4. For the third consecutive year, they made it to the NFC Championship game, where they faced the San Francisco 49ers. But the Cowboys did not have a good game, losing 38-28, in a game that did not even look good until the second half. Even throughout the shortcomings, the organization still had plans to get another championship. Acquiring Deion Sanders in the offseason, the Cowboys were looking for that Lombardi. The 1995 Dallas Cowboys season saw them capture their third Super Bowl title in 4 years. They finished with a 12-4 record, securing the top seed in the NFC East. They defeated the Eagles in the divisional round and overcame the Packers in the NFC Championship game. In the Super Bowl, they faced the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cowboys' defense intercepted Steelers quarterback Neil O'Donnell twice, sealing the 27-17 victory, solidifying the Cowboys as one of the most dominant teams in NFL history.
I made a deal with the guy above. If he'd give me that third one, I'd never ask again. I made a deal with the guy above. If he'd give me that third one, I'd never ask again.
The 1996 Dallas Cowboys season, while still a winning season at 10-6, showed some cracks in the foundation of the dynasty. The offense, while still potent, wasn't as dominant as in previous years. Troy Aikman's performance was inconsistent. and the running game wasn't as effective. The defense, while still solid, wasn't as dominant as in previous seasons. While the Cowboys still made the playoffs, they were ultimately defeated by the Packers in the NFC divisional round. This marked the beginning of a period of decline for the dynasty, as players began to age, get injuries, and off-field issues took their toll.
Cowboys superstar Michael Irvin indicted by a Dallas grand jury.
Today's decision comes about a month after Irvin was caught in a motel room with drugs, 2 women, and a former Cowboy player. Tonight, Irvin is charged with possession of cocaine and marijuana.
The back half of my career was every bit as frustrating. Once Jimmy left, I felt like we were kind of hanging on. We weren't as good in 94 as we had been in 93. In 95, we won the Super Bowl, but we weren't as good of a football team in 95 as we had been in 94. And it continued.
On January 9th, 1998, Switzer resigned as head coach of the Cowboys after finishing the season 6-10 and missing the playoffs. Chan Gailey was hired after Switzer in 1998. He assumed control of a well-known performance powerhouse that was on the verge of a significant decline. While Smith and Irvin were experiencing a downturn, they still managed to produce over 1,000 yards. However, Aikman's Pro Bowl career was in the past, and Gailey faced the challenge of managing the NFL's once glorious rosters as it began to fade. This was not a desirable situation. The Cowboys went 10-6 in the first season and 8-8 in the second season, losing in both wildcard rounds in blowout fashion. The darkest era of the Cowboys was the Dave Campo era. In 2000, instead of seeking a new candidate after dismissing Gailey, Jones elevated Campo to head coach following his 12 years with the team, including 4 years as the Dallas defensive coordinator. He had been with Jones since he started in 1989. In Campo's first season, it was Troy Aikman's last. Irvin was already gone, having retired in 1999. In his first season, he came up with a record of 5-11, the worst since the Cowboys went 1-15 in 1989. Campo also went 5-11 2 more seasons after that. By the end of the 2002 season, Jones had seen enough. Jerry Jones lured Bill Parcells out of retirement in 2003 and made him the head coach. In his first season with the Cowboys, he led them to the playoffs with a record of 10-6, losing to the Panthers in the wild-card round. In the 2004 season, the Cowboys started off strong with victories against the Browns and the Redskins. But injuries, older personnel, spotty play calling, and persistent penalties stopped the Cowboys and dropped them to 6-10. In 2006, the Cowboys signed controversial wide receiver Terrell Owens. Also, Parcells decided to replace veteran quarterback Drew Bledsoe with fourth-year quarterback Tony Romo. The Cowboys were 6-4 with Tony Romo as a starter. They finished the season with an overall record of 9-7. They were able to clinch a playoff berth as the 5th seed in the NFC, losing 21-20 against the Seahawks in Seattle on January 6th on a botched hold.
Here in Josh Brown. Meanwhile, here's Gramatica. Romo holds. 19-yard field goal attempt. Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled by Jordan Babineau. Amazing.
Parcells had seen enough. He retired in the offseason, citing mental exhaustion. Quote, physically, I still could do it, but mentally, this is a 12-month-year job, and I've been doing it since 1964. It's time to stop. I just have to let it go. Still questions about his specific reasons for leaving the game. There were even reports that Parcells had been holding out for more money that the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones simply did not think Parcells' performance was worth. Jerry Jones hired another established NFL veteran to replace Parcells, though one with a considerably lesser pedigree, Wade Phillips. But it was a decision that came with a clear goal: win now. The Cowboys were in no place to develop a young coach, and Jones was in no mood to do so. While Parcells' exit was disappointing, his tenure left behind something the Cowboys hadn't experienced in years: hope at quarterback. Despite his postseason era, Romo showed unexpected promise in 2006 as the Cowboys' first Pro Bowl quarterback since Troy Aikman in 1996. In 2007, he led the Cowboys to another playoff loss, winning the NFC East title with a record of 13-3, clinching the first-round bye. Sadly, a home playoff loss to the division rival New York Giants. The Cowboys made the postseason again in 2009 with a record of 11-5. There, Romo and the Cowboys defeated Donovan McNabb's Eagles for the franchise's first playoff win since 1996. But 8 games later, Wade Phillips was out of a job. The Cowboys got off to a 1-7 start in 2010. The inexcusable 45-7 loss to the Packers was too much. After losing Romo to a collarbone injury in Week 6, for the first time in his tenure, Jones fired a coach mid-season. Mid-season, Jason Garrett was named the interim head coach, then permanent coach, and held the position through 2019. As a backup quarterback to Aikman, who won 2 Super Bowls as a player, Garrett was a longtime favorite of Jerry Jones, who had been with the staff since 2007. The Cowboys missed the playoffs in the first 3 seasons of Garrett's coaching tenure. He finished all 3 seasons 8-8, but his job remained safe. He had a longer leash than his other predecessors. In 2014, Garrett produced his first winning season, going 12-4, leading the Cowboys to a playoff run, defeating the Detroit Lions in a wild card round, but falling to the Packers in the divisional round with a questionable catch that may go down in history.
Here's one down the sideline. Pass caught by Des Bryant. They're going to mark him inside the 1. And a brilliant. Well, Sam Shields is in a great position to make a play, but he's 5'11". He goes up, but he's just not able to.
After review, it has been determined that the receiver did not maintain possession of the football.
I'm trying to reach over the goal line. Why is that not a catch? I'm trying to reach over the goal line.
The Cowboys made the playoffs once more in 2018 under Garrett, where they won in the wildcard round, but lost yet again in the divisional round. This time to Jared Goff's Rams. After 8-8 season in 2019, Jones' patience with Garrett had finally worn thin, and Jerry's most recent victim, Mike McCarthy, who was hired January 7, 2020. Now that we've reached the current era of the Cowboys, as you know, Mike McCarthy was not re-signed. The Cowboys have hired a new head coach, Brian Shue, whatever his name is. I really don't know. I don't really feel like there's much detail I need to go into about Mike McCarthy. It's the same story. It's the same thing. A coach who might have a winning season, who gets to the playoffs, and the moment that he has a losing season, it's over with. Out of there. Done. Finito. I honestly, truly feel like Jerry doesn't care. Like, Jerry doesn't care about the fans. Jerry doesn't care about anybody but his family and the top dollar. Boy, people hate Cowboy fans because it's like, bro, you don't see how you're being finessed. You don't see how he's playing in your face. Like, I think money is the only important thing for Jerry. The Cowboys are the number 1 most profited team in annual revenue. By the way, which is kind of crazy, the Chiefs are 22nd in annual revenue, and they are in the middle of a dynasty right now. So, as you can see, I feel like Jerry's a smart guy and very business savvy. He got the Cowboys great TV deals, extended longer periods than anybody has ever done. He's got them known as America's team. Like, Jerry has done a lot to make the Cowboys what they are today, but I feel like people need to remember that this is a business and making money is the main priority. If the Cowboys went to the Super Bowl every year, but we're not making what they're making today, I don't feel like Jerry will have that same attitude. Winning is cool. I think that's a great storyline, winning. But ultimately, especially in today's day and age, I feel like it's about money. I feel like the genuineness of just anything now is just not the same. I feel like money has trumped everything, and money is God. I mean, I'm not gonna say that money is God, but basically saying that money is God because people will do whatever to have their hands on top dollar, you know. So I hate to say it, but you know, Cowboy fans, y'all need to wake up. Y'all might need to switch teams or boycott the Cowboys or something. But I don't see it happening because the NFL has already tried it out. Like, there's nothing they can really do as long as as long as the football is being snapped on Sunday, people are going to support. So, you know, I think the best thing for Cowboy fans to do is just suck it up. You know, this is your owner, this is who you are, and this is all you'll ever be. I think the most annoying part for, I guess, people that aren't Cowboy fans or just people in general that watch football is how much the Cowboys are put in the media and how much the Cowboys are just broadcast. It's almost annoying. Like, you have to talk about them, you know? Literally, I feel like every time I go back and just read the stories, it's just like deja vu. A head coach for a little bit, maybe a couple winning seasons, maybe a playoff run, then he's fired. And then the same thing back and forth and back and forth. And then what gets me is Jerry's not even hiring guys that I feel like would make great head coaches. Like, there are people that he think would be great because they're going to just do what he says. I mean, is that what you really want? I mean, would you prefer somebody to tell you that, oh, yeah, everything's all fine and everything's good when it's really not? I mean, some people are different. Some people like to be lied to. I don't, And I think it's reaching a certain point. I have seen people on social media, especially Cowboy fans, speaking out like they're tired of this. It's over with. Like, a change needs to happen. But, I don't see that. I mean, if Jerry's owning the Cowboys, I don't see any crazy changes being made. But, I'm excited to see what happened to the Cowboys this season. Not that I'm praying on the downfall of the Cowboys, but as I will be expecting a kind of a failing season this year. I kind of enjoy seeing Jerry just look crazy on camera. Every time they play the Cowboys, especially this season when they was losing bad, every time the Cowboys is upset, you got a video pan of Jerry in the press box looking crazy, just looking like, what's going on? Just confused. So, like I said, I just can't wait to see how this will turn out for the Cowboy fans. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them or fold them. Jerry needs to fold them. It's time to retire, my man. You've had a great run. He's in the Hall of Fame. It's so many things he's done for the organization. I just think it's time to let your sons or your daughter, whoever in the family, run the business. Let them do what they need to do. Sometimes the pride would be your downfall. Sometimes the pride would be your own downfall. As rich as he is, I don't know how bad he want to win. Like I said, I really don't think he wants to win. He says he does, but I don't think he really does. But if he does really want to win, he would do his best for the organization and just fall back. But no, he needs to be the manager. No, he needs to oversee everything. It's a crazy situation. But like I said, we reached that point. I hope if you stuck around this video this long, you could like, comment, subscribe. I will continue to post more sports content, not only just football, basketball, UFC. It just depends what I feel the topic I want to talk about. But see y'all in the next video.